good day, everyone. Rise, shine, and give God the glory. We are so grateful to be in this virtual space with each and every one of you. Friends, I want you to know that this pastor appreciates each and every one of you who have been tracking along with us each and every day. I pray it's been helpful for you. It's been helpful for me as we strive to be better Christians during this Lenten season. And so, friends, thank you so much for tracking along with us each and every day. Well, join me in the text today, Genesis chapter 22. Genesis chapter 22. I want to go back to verse 9 and talk a little bit more there. Genesis chapter 22, verse 9 says these words: When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. And he bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Today, I want to talk about leave it there. That's right. Leave it there. Friends, you should know that we can not truly give and take at the same time. This principle holds deep spiritual significance because it underscores the idea that when we surrender something to God, we must relinquish control over it completely. Our human nature often wants to hold on to things tightly, even when we claim we are letting go. It's as though in a moment of faith, we offer our struggles, burdens, or desires to God, yet soon after, we try to seize them back as if we believe that only we can fix or manage the situation. But this approach reveals a contradiction in our trust. If we only trust God, when we only trust God, we must allow him to take full control without any interference. It's not enough to say, "It's in your hands, Lord," only to continue trying to hold on to it, shaping the outcome in your own image. Friends, true surrender involves releasing it entirely, leaving it in his care and not attempting, hear me closely, to pull it back into our grasp when we start feeling uncomfortable or uncertain. In our text today, Genesis chapter 22, Abraham's unwavering faith offers a profound illustration of this principle. God commanded him to sacrifice his son Isaac, and in the moment of obedience and faith, Abraham prepared to do so. By binding Isaac to the altar, Abraham wasn't just physically securing his son, he was making a spiritual statement that he was committed to leaving everything on the altar, trusting God completely. The binding of Isaac was not just about ensuring Isaac's stillness, but also about symbolizing Abraham's firm resolve to leave no room for doubt or hesitation. It wasn't just a symbolic gesture. It was an act of trust, demonstrating that he had fully surrendered to God without turning back. Friends, when we approach God with our own challenges, be it personal challenges or relationships or sins or even people we care about, we must learn to do the same. The altar is a place of surrender, a place where we leave our worries, our fears, our anger, and our disappointments and trust that God will handle them according to his will. But just as Abraham bound Isaac to the altar, we too may need to bind some of our emotions and bind some of our situations that threaten to pull us back in control. Whether it's anger, resentment, or even pride, these things can influence us and tempt us to take back what we've so carefully offered to God. This is why we must bind them so that they cannot sway us from the decision to leave everything in God's hands. We must leave it there. We often think we can manage things on our own. We believe that by taking matters into our own hands, we can achieve the results we desire. But as Abraham's story, it teaches us that we must recognize that true faith and surrender often require us to let go completely, even when it feels difficult. We must bind those thoughts and feelings and attachments that seek to pull us away from trust so we can genuinely place them before God and leave them there. When we give it to God, we must leave it there. Hear me once again. When we give it to God, we got to leave it there. We must trust that he will take it. He will transform it, and he will guide us in ways that, yes, some of us just can't see. So the question becomes, can you truly give it to God? Can you place your fears, your desires, and your attachments on the altar, trusting that he will take them when you walk away? It's a challenging act, but it's one that will lead to greater peace in our life, knowing that we no longer, hear me, have to carry the weight on our own. Thank you, Jesus. But just as Abraham demonstrated, when he chose to leave it all with God, we find freedom that comes from trusting him completely. Friends, you're invited today, whatever the issue, whatever the problem, whatever the struggle, leave it with God. As we continue to track along on this journey we've called Lent during this season, I pray that you're not just necessarily just listening with us, but I pray that you are asking God where each of these messages may be speaking to your individual life. Friends, we continue to pray for one another. Let's stay committed to this journey, and I'll see you next time.